United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence. Roll call.
Councilor Crum. Present. Councilor Matthews.
Present.
Councilor Coase. Here. Councilor Chamberlain.
Here.
Councilor Allen.
Here.
Councilor Sturts.
Here.
All members are present. We have a quorum.
Motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion moved by Councilor Allen and second by Councilor Sturts. Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Councilor Sturts.
Yes.
Councilor Chamberlain.
Abstain.
Councilor Coase. Yes. Councilor Matthews.
Yes.
Councilor Crum. Yes. 5 yeas, 1 abstain. Motion carries.
Names of individuals wishing to address council. We have Glenn and Mary Estrada pertaining to liquor permit transfer program. You're up, Glenn.
Make sure we don't get the glare. Okay. Is it, well, no microphone, so I guess it's on. Okay. My name is Glenn Grisdale. I believe I know most of you. Tonight, what we are here to talk about is an ongoing project with Maria Estrada. I believe he spoke to you a couple months back at the Committee of the Whole in the morning about a possible project at 123 North Fulton Street in conjunction with a pool hall, billiard hall, billiard sales and other things like that, accessories and things. Part of his project was going to be necessitated upon him receiving, I think at the time, a D1 and a D2 license, where he would receive a license to do beer sales and wine sales. And as he looked for those licenses, we found out that Wauseon is actually at quota for the D1 and D2 program. And we contacted the state, and we found out that actually the grocery store had just filed an application for the wine and the beer, and so that then led us down the path of going the Trex route. And the Trex route is a program that would allow someone who is otherwise unable to receive a quota because they are in a location that is at quota or over quota to transfer into that area. So for this purpose, he would transfer from Lucas County or wherever he can find a permit. In this case, he found one in Lucas County. Would transfer it to Wauseon. It's just not the liquor license. It would be the bona fide sale of a business. So he would be purchasing the assets of a business in Lucas County, purchasing the pool tables and all the other things that he needs to open the business, and transfer that over here. The city is allowed to, under the Trex program, invite that license in, but it's based upon an economic development project basis. Okay, so if there was no economic development project, he wouldn't be able to transfer the license over. And the license specifically stays with the project. So for instance, if his project, he doesn't want to do business anymore, or something happens, he doesn't keep his doors open, the license dies with the project. Okay, so just because you pull over that additional D5 doesn't mean now that you have 6. It stays with that project. You're always going to be capped at 5 until your population increases. When it goes up to 8,000, you'll be able to get, I think, 2 more licenses. So how the process would work is if you approve of his project, he will be allowed to submit a 2-page application. You would attach a cover letter with that application, or basically a support letter. It can be signed by the mayor, it can be signed by Atomic Waters or someone on your board approving the project. He would submit that application to the state. There would be about a 3 to 4 week process. And from that, then the state would then send back to you a packet of material that would be normally the same process as if someone would apply under Ohio Revised Code 4303. So for instance, a non-Trex applicant wants to have a liquor license. There's, I'm sure you've seen it before, where they apply and you have the right to go 3 routes. Approve it, not approve it, or pretty much stay agnostic to the project and approve it but morally object. I think that's the other 3rd route that you could go. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mario and he will explain any more aspects of his project. Do you have any more aspects of the project you want to talk about, or?
I just wanted to mention.
Sure. Come on up.
Yeah. And yes, my name is Mario Estrada, and this is my son Martin. He's going to help me a lot with this project. And I know the first time we came, you know, we were trying to get just a beer wine license, you know, and you know, we really don't care about, you know, selling, you know, carry out or staying open till 2:30, you know. Like my hours are gonna be like from 4 to 1, you know, gonna be my main hours. And once in a while on Fridays and Saturdays, we will have pool tournaments maybe, and I may stay open a little later, you know, depending on, you know, how many people playing the tournaments and stuff. But mainly, I plan to open 5-6 days a week from 4 to 1, and probably close Sundays, you know. And like I say, originally I was hoping to just get a beer wine license because it was cheaper, but we just couldn't get one. So my son found one in the internet, and we've been talking to Eric Nagel about possibly getting it, and he told us that we would have to get approval first before he gets the ball rolling, you know, and that's why we're here.
For the most part, from the previous time we met, our business plan hasn't changed one bit. The only main difference is it was near impossible to find that actual beer and liquor license when we were looking for it, because the ones that did exist, people were just sitting on them, or they're asking for astronomical prices. We were as lucky can be to find the one that we had, because they're actually offering it about 75% of what the going market is right now. And that is the only one that responded to my solicitations. I must have called 50, 60 phone numbers, and I got 3 of them called me back, and one of them was reasonable. It was actually the cheapest one out of the entire market that I found. So we were just ridiculously lucky to even find this. But business model hasn't changed. We're still looking for the exact same hours of operations. We're primarily going for pool leagues. We're not looking to be the watering hole of the town. We have Murphy's. We're very fine with not being Murphy's. And we're just looking to kind of be a middle ground. You have the restaurant, which is food and occasional drink, and we're just trying to provide entertainment. And with every dollar we bring in, we want to reinvest in our building, in our entertainment, televisions, make it more of a place to watch sports. I mean, as much as Sullivan's, as nice as it is, they have 1 TV, maybe 2. So, I mean, in case somebody wants to watch something other than Ohio State and Michigan, because it seems like that's pretty much it, we will have more than 1 TV. So, and that's the goal, is to continually reinvest until we have something that is, I guess, suitable to call home or someplace you want to be. So, and that's kind of where we're at right now. And that's the license we've got.
This Lucas County license that you found, is this something you have purchased, or could you lose this yet? I mean, if this thing takes a month to get going and get permission from this.
We've got their side, their lawyers have all agreed to the pricing. The only thing that's holding it up is the approval of this council.
So,
and that is the huge sticking point, because technically we have to purchase this license and then get your approval. We can't get your approval and then purchase the license. So we're sticking our necks out there, and we're hoping that this goes well.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I hate to see you lose it. You know, if it takes a month, you know, and to get all the paperwork and everything done, and then meanwhile somebody else comes along because it's such a great buy.
Actually, we've discussed it with them already. They lost their last sale due to a council not approving them. But it was a Perrysburg. It was somebody who tried to bring it into Perrysburg, and they were trying to bring in some kind of a smoking bar, which I think that's where they just crashed and burned. And they didn't have prior approval. We approached the council months ago to even get a basic idea as if which way the council was going to go. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. We had to start somewhere, so this is kind of the path we're taking. We will have $1,000 up for our negotiation with the other lawyer. So if the council disapproves, we will lose our money, but that's the gamble we're willing to take to be in business. You have to take those kind of risks.
Once this is transferred over and it's in Fulton County, it's your license, right? There's nobody from Lucas County can come back and say, we want that back here now.
No.
Okay.
It's an
I
asset.
believe Eric Nagel has contacted either them or their attorney. But he's just waiting for me to see if we got approval. And then he's going to pursue, you know, the transaction. But I already gave him the name of the individuals that are selling the license, and he was, last time, we talked to him last week.
A week and a half ago.
Yeah, we talked to Eric, we made an appointment with him, and we discussed, you know, buying this license. And then he said, you know, that he would contact them, and he told me, depending on how this meeting goes, to give him a call. And then he would start the transaction.
The nature of this license will allow you to do what? Sell alcohol with no food issue? I mean, is...
No, we don't. We would be a legitimate bar.
Okay.
But we have the option of selling the carry-out portion, but we have no interest in it.
I see.
I mean, our business plan is exactly the same as before. We just had to buy a more expensive license because the other ones just simply weren't available. I mean, if they were available, we would definitely be happy to spend less money.
And trust me, I hope your business is successful, but remind me again, maybe Glenn, maybe you could, what happens if it's not successful to the license? What?
Yeah, what'll happen is that if the project, the license stays with the project.
Okay.
So if the project goes under, the license goes back.
All right. Okay, so it's not as if they could open their doors, shut their doors, and take their license somewhere else?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Glenn, this is a D5 and a D6. What's the distinction between the two?
Right, it would be a D5 and a D6. A D5 is beer, wine, and spirituous liquor until 2:30. A D6 is actually Sunday sales. However, if they're moving to a dry precinct that doesn't have local option, then they wouldn't be able to use that. And I don't know what the downtown,
I'm not sure.
what that is. Yeah, that would be sale of intoxicating liquor on Sunday between the hours of 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. and midnight. It's a D6.
So you can still be open on Sunday, you just can't sell
Correct.
spirits, correct? I mean, you can still
Yeah,
sell beer and wine.
Whatever is,
And this is different than the revitalization district that I walked you through last year. That pertains to the sale of food sales. The D5 or the revitalization district is a D5L license that provides any business that's willing to locate in your downtown one of 5 available licenses, but they have to have roughly 75% food sales. That's why you wouldn't be eligible for this.
Glenn, if I understand it, what they're seeking right now is essentially a letter of support of the transfer, and then the application would come back to the council at a subsequent time for the normal consideration process.
Yes, let me, I'll enter this into evidence. This is a sample letter, a sample letter and a report that they'll have to provide to us, which is an understanding or a brief paragraph on the number of jobs, investment level. It's all page 2 of the application. Amount invested in the project, the number of jobs that will be created by the economic development project, things like that we have to put in the letter.
Is there a name of the business? I can't remember if you guys gave us a name.
It used to, see, I had just a billiard room there in the 80s, and it used to be breakaway billiards.
That was gonna be again, or?
We were
Don't know
thinking
yet.
of changing the name.
Okay.
We were thinking downtown billiards.
Okay, all right.
But
No
that's,
decision
you know,
been made
just-
yet? No
We were
decision.
gonna change it.
That's about the most popular one so far.
Right.
But it's gonna be something related to the city, to the downtown area.
I mean, I think it would be, the letter would have to come from the mayor or myself, so it probably would be appropriate to have a motion to council, I think, to, council is so inclined to authorize the mayor to do that, and that would take care of the first step, I think.
I'd make a motion to authorize the mayor to author a letter of support of the transfer of the alcohol license, I guess, is that fair?
Under the Trex program.
I'll second.
Trex program, okay.
I'll second that.
Elect your business.
Motion made by Counselor Chamberlain and second by Counselor Matthews. Is there any discussion? Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Crum?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Moving on to committee reports, we'll do finance.
Mark?
Finance, all right, yeah, we met for a very brief meeting, last council meeting, I hit on this a little bit, and we asked Jamie to inquire to see if there's any local companies to do some industrial appraising for us on that appraising service that we need to have done. And she learned that they are not certified here in our area to do the appraising, so consequently, industrial appraising company, the company that did our last appraisal out of Pennsylvania, we'll probably hire to do, it's been over 10 years since our last appraisal, and the state auditor has recommended that the city get a current appraisal, so the quote on that is $10,875, which we as committee recommended that an industrial appraisal company do the appraising service for the city. And that was our meeting.
That's it. Need a motion to accept the finance committee report?
So moved.
Motion made by Counselor Sturts and second by Counselor Coast. Is there any discussion? Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Crum? Yes. 6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Moving on to department head reports. David?
Hold on.
Sorry.
Utilities committee met just a few minutes ago and we went through a couple things.
Okay.
The utilities committee met just earlier, right before this meeting. We had 2 issues that we needed to deal with. The first one is regarding the thing that we talked about at committee of the whole on Thursday with the sealed bid going to Paulding for that piece of equipment that they're selling for the water treatment plant. We just made a motion to go ahead and recommend that Dennis submit that bid for that piece of equipment. That's our first recommendation. The other thing is that one of our huge tanks that is about $100,000 worth of equipment out there is dying on its last legs. It is going to be looked at by an expert in a couple weeks to see if there's anything that can be done for it, but most likely there is not. We're losing CO2 because it leaks. I hope I get this right. Anyway, we're spending a lot of money on chemicals out there that we wouldn't have to do if we would put a new tank in.
Out there meaning?
Water treatment plant.
Water treatment plant.
Yes.
And this tank is just sits on the ground, one of our big round tanks?
Well,
It's not quite round.
No, it's oval shaped actually. But yes. Yes, it's an outdoor tank. It's pressurized. It's heated and refrigerated to maintain a temperature and a pressure. And apparently the insulation has failed, and the proper temperature and pressure can't be regulated, so it blows off material every once in a while that we don't get to use. So, we have shopped, attempted to shop for competitors. The folks that built this tank are still in business, but they seem to be the only game in town that we can find so far out of about an hour outside of Atlanta, Georgia. The local distributors, representatives for this company have been on site. Through the years, they have come and we've had compressor issues or valves and things of that nature that they've been able to keep going. But this issue seems to be beyond their capabilities, and therefore we've been waiting for somebody from the factory, a factory team of technicians, to come and diagnose our problem. But the representative stated that from his experience and observations, he thinks it's probably on its last legs. The lead time for a new tank, if we would put in the order tomorrow, is currently at something like 16 weeks.
So even if we ordered it right now, we'd be looking at January for installation. That'll be in next budget year. So right now it's heads up that this is coming, and it's coming soon. And
the folks from Georgia are supposed to be here on or about August 16th, towards the end of that week, wherever it works out to be.
so we'll know more after they're here, and we'll get a report from Lewin House. So our only recommendation right now is that we just proceed with the sealed bid to the village of Holland.
Make a motion to accept the recommendation of the utility committee.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Chamberlain and second by Counselor Matthews. Is there any more discussion? Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Crum? Yes. 6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Now, David.
Just wanted to let everybody know that we received correspondence from the State Ohio Development Services Agency as it regards the 2013 Community Development Competitive Set-Aside, the Downtown Revitalization Grant that we submitted a few weeks back. Got an official letter today. Out of the 76 applications that were submitted and reviewed, unfortunately 29 of them, well, fortunately 29 of them were approved and awarded some monies for things in their communities. Unfortunately, Wauseon was not one of them. I believe of the 3 set-aside programs, there was the critical infrastructure program, downtown revitalization, and neighborhood revitalization. I believe under 10 of those were the downtown revitalization, and I believe 2 or 3 of the downtown revitalization in all of Ohio were actually funded. So as we roll into fiscal year 2014, hopefully it's something that we can move forward with. We'll be have better footing to go forward with that. I know that there was our project didn't rank high enough. I spoke with Michael Novikov with the state, and he said if we could have ranked a little bit better if there was more of a community service project, like updating ADA infrastructure, things of that nature. If that was in the application, we would have looked good. He couldn't guarantee if we would have been approved, but that's something to keep aware of for next year.
We tried.
We tried. We'll try harder next
Yeah.
year. So. That's all I have.
Don't have a whole lot to report on. Just homecoming is over. We had just a few minor incidents. Nothing major. I wanted to thank Public Works for their assistance in getting us additional barricades for a few different items up there. A couple of things we'll be looking at next year for keep people off the midway where they're not supposed to be. Also, we are going to need a safety and code meeting at some point in time. At this juncture, me and Tom are ready to submit our internet cafe legislation to you. So if you could put that on the schedule, I'd appreciate it. And a reminder, our Citizens Police Academy is fast approaching. It'll be the 12th of September. We have a couple of applications in already, and we just put it out, so we're hopeful we will get enough people to make this a go this year. And that's it.
Thank you. Tom?
We completed about 321 feet of tree damage sidewalks on Cherry, and today they railed up another 280 feet out in Vine Street. We're going to be doing both sides of that block in Chestnut and Leggett, a little bit onto Leggett to get in compliance with putting in the ADA crosswalks there at Leggett Street. So we're working on that. The weather's cooperating, and had a few more phone calls. We have a few more. Wayne Homes called, and they have a couple houses more for Wauseon. It'll be later this year, so we're looking pretty good. Much better than we were last year.
Good. That's it. Dennis?
Resolution 2013-25 on your agenda tonight deals with the Fulton County Engineers Office's road project, which County Road F, which comes into our Linfoot Street through Enterprise Avenue, or to that intersection. They're going to resurface drainage improvements and so on and so forth. As was discussed earlier, our share of that is roughly $65,000, a little less than that, 64 something. And the engineer sent along this resolution after the last council meeting to be passed at this council meeting. It's the format that they prefer, council giving their blessing to participating with the project. You'll recall that the funds are coming from our permissive tax funds, so there really isn't anything out of our budget. We just have to turn around and ask the county engineer for permission to use the money. Anyway, that's an emergency so that they can proceed. They've done the bidding and are ready to proceed with that project. Also noteworthy, I only had one derogatory type phone call from a business person downtown related to the homecoming. Had issues with ingress and egress during the day. Dispatched the public works guys to check it out, and indeed it was accessible, but it was a little bit different layout than what previous homecoming committees had set up, so that all got worked out. Dave Murray and I met with Peterman and Associates, the engineers that are working on the Linfoot Street rebuild, our portion of that, our State of Ohio project. I believe that was July 31st. We had some questions and suggestions for them on the plans as they exist so far, and we are waiting on initial comments from the folks at ODOT at District 2. So slowly trudging forward on that.
All right, thank you. Jamie?
I gave you the income tax receipts as of July 31st. They are up almost 6% compared to last year. And we appear to still be working within budget.
All right, thank you. Did you do anything?
Oh, a lot of little projects, but nothing of great moment to report.
All righty.
Keep it
Hey,
short.
before
How's
I got a quick question for Dennis. On that Linfoot project from Fulton to Shoe, when they do that work on an architect or the engineer does that work, are they gonna put sewer and water taps in vacant lots on that one, so they don't get the project done and somebody has to cut the road up? You know, because I think there's a
We
couple
have thought
things.
about that. We're not down to the point of planning for that yet.
Okay. That'd be nice to do when they get to that point. That way they don't have to cut the new road up to right away to. Because I think there's a couple of vacant lots there.
Well, it depends. The sanitary is, I believe, primarily going to be, is and will be on the south side of the road. So anything on the south side of the road probably isn't a big deal, but
Right.
anything on the north side of the road would be.
Might be something to consider.
While you're questioning Dennis, I got one more. How important is it that we back up to Utilities Committee and take care of the water line loop?
The loop, you said?
The loop.
Um,
Do we need to do that today?
No, it can keep it the next time around.
Okay. Moving on to first reading of legislation. Resolution 2013-25, accepting the bid amount for certain improvements to Linfoot Street and agreeing to pay the amount due under the contract between the Board of Commissioners of Fulton County and Durkin Paving Incorporated and declare an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Crum and second by Counselor Sturts. Is there any discussion? Oh, was that Counselor? Oh, okay.
Separate them.
Yeah. Second by Counselor Allen. Is there any discussion? Counselor Crum?
Yes.
Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Final passage.
Second.
You have that one. Motion made by Counselor Matthews and second by Counselor Sturts. Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Crum?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, resolution 2013-25 passes on emergency and is now in effect.
On to second reading of legislation. Ordinance 2013-3, amending section 301 of the codified ordinances of the city of Wauseon, definition of compact vehicle.
So moved.
Motion made by Counselor Coast and second by Counselor Matthews. Is there any discussion? Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Crum?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, ordinance 2013-3 passes on second reading.
Ordinance 2013-4, amending section 1303 of the codified ordinances of the city of Wauseon, Pride Wauseon Architectural Standards Code.
Second reading.
Second.
Motion.
Can you tell those two apart?
Yeah. Motion made by Counselor Crum and second by Counselor Coast. Is there any discussion? Counselor Crum?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, ordinance 2013-4 passes on second reading.
Ordinance 2013-6, granting to Ohio Gas Company, its successors, and assigns the right to maintain a gas distribution system and to lay, extend, maintain, operate, repair, and remove mains and pipe in, through, or under streets, alleys, public places of the city of Wauseon, Fulton County of Ohio, for supplying gas to the city and its inhabitants and the transportation thereof and through the city.
What was that? Second.
When you raise your hand, then helps.
Hey, down here.
Motion made by Counselor Allen and second by Counselor Sturts. Is there any discussion? Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Crum?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, ordinance 2013-6 passes on second reading.
There is no third reading of legislation, so on to new business. Motion to accept the 2013-2014 Drug Use Prevention Program grant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Matthews and second by Counselor Coast. Is there any discussion? Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Crum?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Like to have discussion?
Yeah. I guess we just wanted some clarification as to whether or not those things that we look to codify as far as park rules, if those rules apply to the bike path as well.
We're trying to figure out if the bike path
That
is
is
part
part
of
of
the
it.
parks or not the parks.
When we initially took the parks over, but when we started the trail and did the paving, the Parks Department was the division that did the maintenance.
And the question then is, if the bike path is considered part of the park system, then the rule that we're about to codify that says no dogs in the park means they would not be allowed on the bike path either.
Unless you make an exception.
Right.
Glenn, is there any benefit to having, for purposes of the granting world, to having the bike path either be or not be a part of the park system?
The bike path is part of the 60-mile route that goes from Jerome Road out to Montpelier, and dogs are allowed on a leash on all the rest of it. So it'll be a little difficult to tell somebody they can't bring their dog once they cross into the city of Wauseon when it's going to be allowed throughout the rest of the county and all the way through Lucas County.
I don't think we ever intended to not allow
Right.
dogs on the bike path.
I think we need to, in Lucas County, through the metro parks where the bike path goes and everything, it's a 6-foot leash, maximum 6-foot leash. So,
Glenn, can you give any feedback to Tom's question? If we're to carve out the bike path and see it not as part of the park, does that limit future grant opportunities for the bike path, do you think? I mean, is that the question you're asking, Tom?
Yeah,
Okay.
or any impact either way.
Yeah, so if we carve it out and we grant it to the county.
Or to,
No.
it's still city,
No,
but
it's
just
separate-
carve it out of the parks.
Separate park.
So it would not be a part of the park anymore?
Right. But the city would still
Yeah.
retain ownership of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's technically considered, are we assuming it's considered part of the park system now?
We've sort of been scratching our head about
the only thing that's ever been is that's the department that did the maintenance. on it.
Sure.
Right.
So whether or not it was ever designated a park, I don't think it ever was officially. So
Have we started the legislation on codifying those things yet? We haven't started that yet, have we? No.
I guess.
You mean on annexing?
Or,
Or on
no.
the purchasing?
No.
just the dog.
Those park
The
rules,
dog.
make them more, we haven't started the legislation
No.
process.
I guess when they do it, they can make it, the trail is,
Exempt.
that you can, yeah. You can have your dog on a leash. So they're taking things down and hold the dog back.
if you simply just designate that the bike path is not part of the park system, even though it's part of public works, so it'd be, as it is now, the public works department maintains it's not park.
Right.
And the dog law wouldn't be an issue there.
You also might have an overlap on curfew issues. If you've got that curfew law, you'd have to carve out if the, I don't know if the
Yeah.
times are different, but, so maybe it would make sense not to treat it as park, part of the park system.
Be the easiest.
And we would, I'm sorry, go ahead, Karen.
I was going to say, should we just have a motion
Yeah.
to officially leave it out of the park system?
Yeah. That'd be the simplest and easiest thing.
Everybody okay with that idea? I mean, if we're to,
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Then I'll make the motion that the bike trail is not part of the park system.
second.
Motion moved by Counselor Crum and second by Counselor Chamberlain. Is there any discussion? Counselor Crum?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Sturt?
yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Where is the process with respect to with the codification
Yeah,
of the
where's the
park rules then with you guys? Is it going back and forth between the park board and the,
Last I knew it was up to the park board.
I think it's back to the park board because they wanted to designate, if they wanted to designate one park as a dog park, they wanted to do it now while we were doing this, all in one lump. So it's either back to the park board to say we're going to designate a park or not.
Were there also some questions about the hours of the parks? Or were those already done?
yeah, that was, probably something you guys want to look at. I don't know whether if you guys got a copy of that section of the code that deals with the curfew hours, but you might want to revisit that because it's sort of outdated. It has curfew times, but it exempts, you know, like basketball courts at Weird Park. Well, I'm assuming that you'd want to exempt, I don't know what the lights are at the ballpark at, you know, out
And the tennis
at
court.
Biddle. Tennis. Oh, yeah, tennis courts are part of that.
And basketball at South Park.
For, just foreseeing our next meeting on the 13th, can you, Tom or Chief Torbett, provide the park board, through Heather and I, we'll give it to them, a list of what they're considering to codify? You know, just a list of the rules that they're considering to codify. They just had some questions as to what they were, and rather than trying to describe to them a picture of a sign that I couldn't remember in my mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just a list. Get it to Heather and I, we'll deliver it to them on the 13th when we discuss this issue again. Is that fair?
And then Tom, can we also get a copy of that?
Yeah, yep, we'll include that, the curfew section.
That way, maybe we can start legislation on that on the 19th, maybe.
And one other thing, we're done with that.
Yeah.
With everybody's here, safety and code. With,
We've already got, right after the next committee, the whole meeting for utilities. Sorry.
well, who's gonna safety and code?
Yeah, I'm not safety and code.
That's fair.
Oh, that's the, okay, those are the opposite
Yeah, we
committees.
can be at the same
We
time.
can do both.
Yeah, take
And
that,
that
Karen.
Sorry.
That will be for, yeah, is that, yeah.
That's the 15th.
15th, and that will be for, oh man, that was a half hour ago, and Keith said he wanted it for, whatever Keith wanted it for.
Okay.
He'll make up something.
Internet
Is it
cafe.
Signs in the park.
No,
Yeah,
internet
that,
cafe.
and we'll also discuss, we can't seem to come up with any laws on 1 foot and shoot. I get a lot of people complaining about making a right-hand turn with that stuff, you know, so tires being so close to the road, so,
Oh, but the tires.
yeah. So we'll discuss that too, with their safety code, see what we can come up with.
Just move the stuff line out further.
Yeah.
All right. Motion to approve the bills.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Allen and second by Counselor Coast. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Sure.
Counselor Sturts?
Yeah.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Crum? Yes. 6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
One thing, for those of you who are interested, August 9th is Tomahawk Trot. Anybody like to, you don't have to run it, you can walk it, but it is Friday night.
And I can speak to it, you can't walk it. I mean, I know personally.
So any and all that want to come out for the Tomahawk Trot on August 9th, appreciate it.
What's that? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Crum and second by Counselor Coast for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.